Hey everyone. All right. So this is another one of the what am I playing now videos, which I really ought to come up with a better name for. It's weird. But let's get into it. It's going to be a really short one because not much has changed. I mentioned last time that I've been playing Steel Rising. I still haven't beaten it. I feel like I'm near the end. I just finished the Bastille, which, I don't want to get too spoilery, but I finished the Bastille, or the Bastille. I don't know how you. I'm not French. And I just finished the DLC, the Secret Life of Cagliostro. That's not the name of it. I don't know what it's called. The DLC was a little, I don't want to say disappointing, because that's too negative. I know that the DLC got some mixed reviews, and I totally see why. The DLC felt like little more than just a little side quest. It really wasn't... I'm not somebody who likes to say, oh, it's not worth your money, because usually when people start mentioning that, it becomes like, oh, well, it has to be like a really giant game in order to get your money's worth. And I think that's bullshit. I have had a lot of fun with games that are really, really short. And some of my favorite games are really, really short. So it's not so much a length kind of thing as it's more of a content kind of a thing. All that being said, I was a little disappointed with both the length and the content of the DLC for this. It was really short. It was just a side quest, and the content, it was like just a new area in the game. And admittedly, it's an area that is put together amazingly well. Like, that's the highest. That's like the best aspect of the DLC, is that the new area is really well constructed. This game it's got all the classic Souls tropes of, like, labyrinthine, twisting levels that wrap back on themselves, and you emerge from someplace back into an area that you've already been. You're like, oh my gosh, this is how it connects, and that's really cool. And Steel Rising does this constantly, but I would argue in the base game they do it not as well as like Dark Souls would. There's an awful lot of, oh, here's a gate, a big iron gate that is blocked, and I know I'm going to come around the other side and open the gate. And like a whole lot of really obvious, like, oh, here's where the labyrinth connects kind of a thing. And I would argue that the DLC doesn't have that. The DLC is much better constructed in terms of, like, the labyrinthine design. And that's the high point for me, is the DLC really had, like, excellent area. But it was a single area and 2 boss battles, and quite frankly, a bunch of forgettable equipment. So there wasn't a whole lot of meat for this DLC, and I don't exactly regret it, because I really enjoy the game, but I wouldn't recommend it for anybody. I do recommend the game. Don't recommend the DLC, unless you are like me and you just really fucking got into the game. So I feel like I'm near the end of the game, but I haven't beaten it yet. Another one that I said I was playing was Monster Sanctuary for the Nintendo Switch. I haven't finished it. It's another one of these games that's really big. It's a Pokemon style, Pokemon monster catching and battling, wrapped inside of a Metroidvania, for those who might forget what it was. And it's really big. I'm not finished with it. I have no idea how much more of the game is left. It's a game that doesn't do a great job of telegraphing really anything. If I had a complaint, it's that there's an awful lot of, like, I'm just really aimless and I don't know what to do next going on in this game. I do think that I would probably be closer to being done, but so my daughter has an activity that I take her to. We take her to twice a week, and I usually take her to it on the weekends, usually on a Sunday afternoon. And my wife takes her during the week because It's happens when I happen to have a phone call with work, so I can't take her during the week. But why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because I usually take one of my video game consoles and sit out in my Jeep in the parking lot waiting for her thing to be done, because it's like an hour, and I play video games. And this last weekend, I took my Switch, and I was gonna play Monster Sanctuary, but I forgot that the next game I'm gonna bring up was in my Switch, and I did not have Monster Sanctuary in the Switch case, so I couldn't play it. So I might be done had I just remembered to bring the game. Alright, so what is new this week? That's the stuff that's the same as last week. What's new this week? Well, the first thing I already hinted at is this. No Man's Sky for the, this is the Nintendo Switch port. And this is the one that was actually in my Switch when I was expecting Monster Sanctuary. It's a little bit surprising to get there and be like, oh, it's No Man's Sky. Alright, so I don't think I need to explain what No Man's Sky is, but I might need to explain my history with it. I love No Man's Sky. I have played a lot. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm just going to ballpark it. I might put a correction down below, so we'll see. But I think on Steam, I'm something like 400 hours in. Like, I've put 400 hours into the Steam version of No Man's Sky. On the PlayStation 4, before the PlayStation 5 came out, I think I put in an additional 100 to 200 hours. There was a period where my daughter would play No Man's Sky in VR on the PlayStation 4 while I was playing No Man's Sky on the PC, and we'd play it together and we'd do stuff. And it was just really fun. We haven't done it in a while because, if I'm honest, she didn't really get into the game. Like, she was much more into the Minecrafty aspect of it, like building bases, and I'm much more in the exploration, and I want to go find stuff, and then I want to build a base. I want to find the perfect planet, and then build a base there. And she just wanted to start building whenever, and she didn't want any of the survival aspects of it, and I don't like creative mode in No Man's Sky, so there was a little bit of a clash, and we put in maybe 50 to 60 hours together, which is a lot of time, but we, very quickly after that fell off. But the point is that I own it on PC, I own it on the PlayStation 4. I'm trying to remember, I don't know if I've ever bought it physically for the Xbox One, but I have played it on the Xbox One. I either have it digitally, it might be in Game Pass, I don't remember, or I own it physically on the Xbox One, I don't remember. But the point is I've put a lot of time in it over the years, so it was kind of inevitable that I would pick up the Switch version. I have to be honest, I'm incredibly impressed that this thing is running on the Switch at all. And for what it is, like, holy cow, it's amazing on the Switch. It's also the worst way to play it. It is undeniably blurry and glitchy. Not glitchy. It's blurry. It's ugly on the Switch. It's funny. When we had No Man's Sky in the PlayStation 4, when I'd play it on the PlayStation 4 VR, it felt like I was playing the whole game with my glasses off. Like, it was all really super blurry. So, that was one of the reasons I didn't really care for No Man's Sky on the PlayStation 4 VR. The Switch is like that. It's like you're playing the game without your glasses on, or with whatever eyesight problems I've got going on. It's like, it's blurry. It's blurry and a little ugly, but it's amazing that it is running on a Switch. And I didn't actually get it because I thought, I could play it on the road, because I got a Steam Deck and it already plays fine there. I think I got it because I just really love No Man's Sky, and I wanted yet another place to possibly play it. So that's the other one I'm playing right now. The other new one. The last new one, this is not even really a new one for me. I actually bought this when it came out. I don't typically buy games when they came out, but I'm a big fan of the franchise, and the initial reviews were very positive, so I picked it up, like, right when it came out. I didn't pre-order it, because I don't do that shit, usually. But I did pick it up pretty much the day it came out. And then I played it a lot solo, and only recently was able to get my friends to join me on it. And that game is Evil Dead, the game, which, if you don't know what this is, it's vaguely in the same family as something like Left 4 Dead, but it's asynchronous versus multiplayer. There's like I think it's 4 players. It's either 3 or 4, I can't remember. There's only 3 of us playing, so we never had a 4th person playing with the 3 of us playing. But there's like 4 characters, 3 or 4 characters who are, the characters from the series, and then the enemy is another character who controls one of the like demonic creatures, and they kind of like organize and orchestrate traps and things to thwart the people who are playing the game and trying to complete their objectives. And it's really fun. I'll admit that a lot of my enjoyment comes from the fact that it's Evil Dead. So, if you were to remove the Evil Dead name from it, I don't know, I might not have as glowing of an opinion on it, but I really enjoy it. I really did enjoy it, and I had a hell of a lot of fun playing with my friends. It was one of those nights where we're all in different time zones. It was one of those nights where we kind of started like after my family went to bed, and it was a weekend, so I stayed up too late, and I think we started like at 9:30 my time, and I eventually left at 2 a.m., which that's a lot of time to spend in the game, and it was just a hell of a lot of fun, and I want another one of those experiences. I don't know if they enjoyed it as much as I did. It's one of those situations where my enjoyment made it so that I was completely blind to whether or not they were having as much fun as I was having. I mean, the fact that we played so long makes me think they at least had a little bit of fun. But yeah, we put a lot of time into it this last weekend. And I want to do it again. So that's what I'm playing right now. Like I said, it's a little bit of a short video because not much has changed. But anyway, that's it for this week. Thanks. Take care.